says, why that stuff up? Called calling a defect a defect. Why do you think they would even say something like that? Huh? The title is calling a defect a defect.
Probably it's the wrong error.
It's the wrong error?
Yeah.
You close. Why do I have to call a defect a defect?
Problem within a problem.
It's not effective anymore. It's anti-effective.
You know what y'all problem is? Y'all think too much. A defect is a defect, and I gotta call it what it is. Plain and simple. The problem why they have to tell us that calling a defect is a defect or calling a defect a defect is because we look at our defects and call them something else. All of us, and all they're saying is the defects that we have identified long ago. This ain't nothing new to us. We minimize and we put a different name on it. And all they saying is call it what it is. If it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck, they say it's a duck. If you rob and you steal and you con and you spend up your whole paycheck and you don't come home at night, then what is that? Call it what it is. Quit trying to minimize it. Quit trying to act like it ain't happening. Quit trying to act like it's not you. That's all they saying. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. Listen. He says, when we see how our defects exist in our lives and accept them. See, that's the problem. Is that I don't want to accept the defects that I see about me. And we talked about some of this last week is because those defects are so closely tied to me, it is sometimes that I do not see them, because to say that's me says something about me. But the inability to acknowledge that defects still continues to lead me in the wrong direction. Why? Because I just put a Band-Aid over it when I really need to go get some stitches. You follow me? He says, when we see how our defects exist in our lives, because they do exist, don't they?
They do.
We're a living example that our defects exist in our life, don't they? Then he says, and accept them. Don't just acknowledge that they exist, but accept the fact that they do exist. When we let go of them and get on with our new life, he says, when we see how our defects exist in our lives and accept them, we can let go of them. I can't let go of it until I can acknowledge that that's a part of me. I don't have nothing to fix, and that was our problem. We didn't think we had anything to fix or deal with because we didn't have no problems. And every time somebody identified a defect about me, I said, that ain't me. And so the inability to accept and acknowledge left me with nothing to deal with. He says, then we can let go of them and get on with our new life. That means I got to let go of those old character defects that have gotten me in the position that I'm in now and start anew. Remember, you can't keep trying to fix the problem in the same state of mind. And so now my mind has to be renewed. My mind has to take on a different mindset. My actions have to change from that which I'm accustomed to doing to something new. And until that happens, the results that we get will be the same. Jails, institutions, dereliction, homelessness, joblessness, penniless, no self-respect, no respect from others, no trust. But it all starts with calling a defect a defect. It's okay. Because when I can acknowledge that that's me, that yeah, I did that, yeah, that drives me sometimes, then I got something to work with that I can use to my benefit. Let me help you with this. This about sums it up. The things that got us here were considered to be liabilities, right? When I can acknowledge those liabilities, they are no longer liabilities, but they become assets to me. My drug addiction was a liability until I was able to acknowledge and accept that that was me. And now my drug addiction has become an asset to me. It drives me to want to do better. It drives me to not want to go back because I have acknowledged that my past was a liability. And everything in it became a liability. My defects were a liability. You know what my defects are today? They are an asset to me. Because I recognize them, I understand them, that if I do this, this is what I'm going to get. And so they're an asset to me. And that's how you got to look at this thing, rather than looking at the negative. Now we got to deal with the negative first, but then we got to bring the positive out of it so that it drives me to do something better and get different results than what I've been getting.